Are we moving towards a more federal EU? Well, the ball may have started rolling on the 9th of June, as the European Parliament has proposed significant EU treaty change. But what are EU treaties? Are they the same as EU legislation, such as the recent ban on Apple chargers? No, they aren't. An EU treaty is a binding agreement between EU member countries. It sets out EU objectives, rules for the EU institutions, how decisions are made, and the relationship between the EU and its member countries. If a policy area is not cited in a treaty, then the Commission cannot propose a law in that area. So far, there have been 8 treaties that have led to the EU that we know and enjoy today. This started all the way back in 1952, with the treaty establishing the EU Coal and Steel Community. Then 6 years later, the Treaties of Rome were established, that set up the European Economic Community and the European Atomic Energy Community. Then the Brussels Treaty in 1967, that streamlined all the EU institutions. Then the Single European Act 20 years later, in preparation for the single market, and Portugal and Spain joining the bloc. Then in 1993, the Maastricht Treaty, one of the most important, to prepare for the European Monetary Union and introduce elements of a political union. Then the Treaty of Amsterdam and Nice in 1999 and 2003 respectively, that reformed the EU institutions to allow for more member states joining. Then lastly, the Lisbon Treaty in 2009, to make the EU more democratic, more efficient, and better able to address global problems, such as climate change. Now in the year 2022, the next treaty may be on the horizon, largely due to 2 reasons. Firstly, there have been plenty of crises over the last 10 years that could have been better addressed with a more integrated Europe. And secondly, there was the Conference on the Future of Europe only 2 months ago, where 49 proposals were put forward to the EU by citizens like you and me. With these 2 reasons in mind, the Parliament created a treaty change proposal based on 11 categories. Some of the most significant proposals strive to make the EU more democratic. For instance, reforming the voting procedures in the Council so that vetoes are no longer possible in areas such as sanctions. This will stop our good friend Viktor Orban from blocking most EU foreign policy proposals. And it will allow for qualified majority voting in areas such as foreign policy, fiscal policy, and social policy. Secondly, the proposal would give the European Parliament the right to initiate legislation, a responsibility that currently only lies with the Commission. Next, there's the proposal to allow for EU-wide referendums. I am personally a little skeptical about this, as this has the potential to polarize the EU around one single topic. One only needs to look at the UK. In terms of law and security, the Parliament's proposal is also pushing for more power in health, energy, defense, and in social and economic policy. Whether these areas should be exclusive competencies for the EU is unclear, but also very unlikely. In terms of values and rights, the proposal also wants to fully implement the European Pillar of Social Rights and strengthen the procedure to protect the EU's founding values. But for more information, check out my sources in the description. So what happens next? Well, the European Parliament overwhelmingly supported EU treaty change in these areas, with 255 MEPs in favor and 154 against. Next, the heads of state will need to vote by simple majority whether to set up a convention. This might actually happen quite soon on the 23rd of June this year. And this is where the fun really starts. A convention is composed of representatives of the national parliaments, the European Council, the European Parliament, and the European Commission. These parties discuss the treaty changes and then submit a final proposal to the Intergovernmental Conference, where each member state has to approve it. So don't hold your breath for this being implemented anytime soon. The Lisbon Treaty took 8 years to implement, and a lot of compromises were made. Not to mention that these 10 countries have already stated that they do not support treaty change at this point in time. So does this mean that the EU could split into multiple tiered models, some integrating further while others don't? Check out my video below if you're interested in seeing how this could work. I personally think that treaty change is needed to make the EU more effective and democratic. Check out the second video for more detail on EU democracy. Thank you for watching, and please like the video and subscribe if you enjoy the content.